You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Absolutely. All
I'll
right.
let people as they come in. So welcome everyone to our March session of Work Smarter, Not Harder, that we've been hosting here at HubSync. We have some special guests today. We have two partners from CRI, Carwiggs and Ingram. We've got Deanna. She's a tax partner with CRI for over 17 years, right, Deanna? And a Nashville native. We are also in Nashville. We're headquartered now in Franklin, Tennessee. So these guys are right down the road. And then Chris Hoffman as well. He's a partner and service line leader also at Carwiggs. He's been there 20 plus years. And also a Nashville, or I should say a Tennessee person. You went to UTK, just like my niece. So welcome and thank you for joining us on this month's session. And also we have John McGowan, HubSync CEO. And I think it's going to be a really fun 30-minute discussion today. So I'm glad everyone is able to join us, especially during busy season. And this team will be talking about what a successful partnership looks like, what works, best practices, Carwiggs experience rolling something up pretty darn quick. Our experience with rolling up something so fast, as well as theirs, lessons learned, and what everyone can glean from having such great leadership at the client to make something so successful. The success is really a partnership, and it's joint. So with that, I'm going to kick it off to you, John, and you guys can get started. We intend this to be a very lively discussion, so everyone out there in webinar world, just throw your questions to me and I will interject as I can to get as much as we can from this team, and everyone can learn how this was so successful. So with that, John, I'll hand it off to you.
Thank you, Betsy. And thanks for being with us, Chris and Deanna, during busy season. I know this is a busy time of year for both of you. Deanna, I guess I wanted to start with you since the relationship started with you in a Starbucks in Brentwood, Tennessee. I remember you walking into the Starbucks and you had printed off all of our web pages and you had probably 15 questions next to all of our modules. And you walked in, I'm like, okay, this is game on. I better be ready here. And I remember flipping my iPad around and I think doing a 90-minute demo to you in the Starbucks. So you came in very opinionated about, I think what you wanted from a partnership and a relationship and some of the pain points and opportunities that you were trying to address inside of Carwiggs. So, love, just to maybe talk about, you were very opinionated around what you wanted from a partner, some of the technology goals that you were trying to achieve, and kind of want to talk about the benefits of going with kind of an integrated platform, because you guys went all in with us very, very early. So just talk to me about, your thought process as you look to solve some of your technology challenges and move from current state where you were to where you are now, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yep. Thanks, John. So it was a fun meeting. I was filling in for Chris at that point. I believe he was on vacation out of the country. So I wanted to be sure that I came prepared and answered all the right questions. Chris and I are constantly looking for ways to create efficiencies in our process and the tools that are utilized across the firm. And being heavily involved in our firm's just tax process and standardization, we're hyper aware of the issues that our professionals are facing, as well as our administrative staff. We were originally looking into the return delivery module. So we've had various tools, various ways of delivering tax returns across the firm. So we were looking for something that would be standardized across the board. In preparation for that meeting, like you said, I did utilize HubSync website to gather information, make notes, learn what the platform was offering. There was a wheel of various modules that outlined way more than what we were planning to investigate first. And it's rare when one tool can address multiple challenges or pain points. And HubSync was able to do that for us. And I'll cover just a few. One of those challenges was the engagement letter creation and tracking for all service lines. Historically, we had an internal tool that would create our tax engagement letters in bulk. Our attest engagement letters were created in Microsoft Word utilizing PPC templates. All other consulting and other engagement letters were created in Word as well. However, sending those engagement letters was not always electronic. The signature was not ever electronic. The tracking was non-existent, especially at the firm-wide level. We never had visibility across the firm on the number of the engagement letters produced and summarized by service line or office. And HubSync solved that problem for us. We're now able to produce tens of thousands of tax engagement letters, I would say in just a few days, depending on when folks start and how many they produce, and send those for electronic signatures in bulk. In addition to the engagement letter module or engagement letter wizard, we also rolled out the tax organizer and 8879 module in our first year. In the past, our admins would spend time printing tax organizers, sorting and mailing them. There was really no tracking of that. And switching to that online tax organizer has created efficiencies, especially for those taxpayers that feel comfortable operating in the cloud environment and were asking for a tool to collaborate online. Finally, the 8879 module, along with HubSync's tax return breakup process, has allowed our professionals to deliver the tax returns to client workspace and send the 8879 forms for electronic signatures from the same kind of workspace. And I would say another benefit of having this integrated platform was for where clients can upload their documents, which can be accessed by anyone really in the firm that has visibility into the client's workspace. So that eliminated the need. We've always heard partners and managers and the clients sending information to their inbox, or possibly it was the share file inbox, sorting through that, downloading and saving. So we've had significant savings in that regard, and the ability to assign or delegate the administrative task to a lower billable person rather than for that partner spending time in doing those tasks.
That's great,
Chris,
Deanna.
do you have, that was a whole lot. I don't know if you were
No, that was
expecting
great.
that.
Now, maybe pivot to Chris a little bit. I think that meeting we had in Starbucks was June. We had a bunch of demos and had to get leadership buy-in. I know, Chris, you and I wish the contract could have gotten signed a little sooner, but we got it signed in November. But Chris, I remember you approaching me saying, look, we want to roll out as much of HubSync as possible. We don't want to make any mistakes, but we really want to be aggressive. We have a lot of firms that think, this is a multi-year process, and you and Deanna really were pretty bold and aggressive in terms of your goals for rolling this out. In the first busy season, we've obviously rolled out more modules this second busy season as well. Talk to me a little bit about your mindset in terms of going in the more aggressive, go big path versus some firms that feel they need to move slower.
Sure. Thanks, John. Thanks, John, for having us today. Yeah, our mindset after learning all the capabilities of HubSync is there's so many benefits out there to be gained, and we're going to have pain points in growth. We just accept that with change. There's going to be some sort of change management or pain that goes along with that. I think our mindset was, if we're going to have change and create that disruption, but there's this benefit out there, we should go for the biggest benefit that we can get for that disruption. So that's how we decided we want to implement as much as we can, as fast as we can.
You mentioned, Chris, the change management part of this. I mean, I thought you guys did we often get asked by clients, what are the best practices in terms of communicating this change, number one, out to your clients, but also managing the change internally. We have, lots of changes happening inside of firms. There's acquisitions happening, changes in ERP systems. HubSync sometimes is another platform that's getting introduced. Talk to me a little bit about some of the communication to your clients and change management and training that you drove internally to make the first rollout successful.
Sure. So our plan first was to give some internal training, with some of that initial training being the why. Why are we going to HubSync? What was the decision-making process? What are the benefits? We started out with the why to kind of get that initial buy-in from our people that, hey, we see the long-term benefits, and we see kind of the time savings that we will accumulate once we invest in this change. So initial internal training on the why, went into more internal training, kind of general overview of what HubSync looks like, what it does, kind of a generic overview. And then internally, we started doing deeper dives into the various modules. Again, we agreed on which modules or which sections we're going to roll out, which ones we're going to place on hold until post the first busy season. Then we did deeper dives into each one of those. Then externally, before the client ever got the first email from HubSync, we sent out some emails to our clients saying, hey, we're introducing a new tool. It's going to be a better experience for you. The name is HubSync. Be on the watch for further announcements on that. And then as the engagement letters and the organizers and all those started rolling out, we did more targeted emails to our clients with an introduction. We created a section on our external website for HubSync resources. So if our clients had issues, they were directed to that HubSync resources section of our website that they could help that. We also had an internal intranet site dedicated to HubSync resources. We had training videos that we've recorded. We had FAQs, all sorts of internal documents that people can refer to when using HubSync. So during the rollout, we had kind of the internal resources. We had the live training sessions. We educated our clients as best we could. And then post rollout, we also offered office hours.
Remember that.
On a regular basis, where people would basically be a comment box, an electronic comment box where people would submit questions or comments electronically, and then we'd get on every morning for the office hours. People inside the firm would dial in, and we just go through any questions or submissions that we'd gotten, answer those questions. And I think that gave people an outlet that as they were getting into it, using it, and had very specific questions, they had a quick resource that they could go to each day to kind of get answers to that.
I thought there were some real best practices there that were fantastic, and we were excited to partner with you on the rollout and change management. The one thing too that's coming up quite a bit is just integrations, right? Obviously, HubSync integrates with a lot of different systems. You need to pull data from ERP and other systems to get the right addresses and client information into the engagement letter product. Your IT team, my development team loves your IT team. You use our APIs very aggressively to drive automation. Can you talk about some of the things that Nick and the IT team did around automation to help you and Deanna with the rollout?
Deanna, you want to cover that one?
Sure. I can take that. I think some of the functions that were automated internally include utilizing a standard form that our users would submit that would create the client in the master client list, and then another automation would replicate that information to various other databases within HubSync. So there was only one input that would render the information needed in the proper databases. We also automated the inactivation or deletion of clients in a similar fashion, where there's a form that's submitted when client needs to be deleted, and it gets automatically removed. There is also some automation around the inbox that gathers any kind of e-signature bounce backs or questions that are routed to an inbox when somebody's signing a letter or about to sign a letter and they have questions. So that comment would go into a general inbox that's for the entire firm, but we created an automation that would route that email directly to the person that was in charge, so to speak, so they could address the issue for that client.
That's
So
great.
some of the other automation that we have, and that's more of an internal, is the replication of the engagement letter templates that we replicate across various locations.
Yeah.
So we've got two questions from from the audience. I just want to kind of
Okay.
jump in here real quick.
Great.
Back to you, Chris. So you guys, your rollout and driving adoption in your firm is clearly a best practice, absolutely. But one of the questions was, how did you get CRI management or the team to buy in to roll this out so quickly? Like, how did that happen? Because that seems to be a stumbling block for some firms. Yes, let's do this and let's make this happen.
Yeah, the management team definitely had to come together and weigh the pros and cons of each. And part of it is going back to the kind of the current state pre-HubSync was the timing of getting engagement letters out was always getting later and later. We wanted to accelerate getting engagement letters out, but in reality, the opposite was happening. So we had some pain points internally that we were, as a management group, kind of acknowledging that now we need to get a better handle around. And then the kind of the cost benefit going into what is the cost of sending out all the cost in terms of our time of sending all these engagement letters out? What's the cost of our time of processing all these organizers? What are we spending already on this, and what does a new tool like HubSync offer in terms of time savings? So those are the kind of the discussions going on at kind of the leadership level of weighing kind of what our pain points in our current state were, and then what are the kind of the cost benefits of staying in that current state versus going to a better tool.
It's a pretty basic time saved, money saved. Like, this is no brainer. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then Deanna, regarding the templates that you had just mentioned and engagement letter, templates and templating is a big pain point for many firms. And there's a lot of opinions on how to move them forward. And then there's a lot of question around how customized they should be. Your team has decreased the number of templates, which then makes the tool very manageable, and a lot, just very, very manageable. How did you manage that? How did you bring it to the decreased number of templates versus this long laundry list of how templated, or I should say, how customized you wanted it? How did you do that?
So I think that's twofold. So I'm going to separate it into tax engagement letters and what we call ANA engagement letters. I'm kind of much closer to the tax side, and we've had a singular template for tax engagement letters for years where we bulk produce them. So it was not a significant shift for our tax professionals. It was more or less locking in. Maybe there were new paragraphs that were added for current year. The only caveat, I guess the only differential would be if when you're producing bulk engagement letter, obviously you cannot customize any of the paragraphs. Let's say you wanted to customize the fee paragraph, then you would have to create a one-off engagement letter for that particular client. But for the most part on tax, there really wasn't a change management on the tax side, because we've been doing that for probably over 10 years already, bulk producing tax engagement letters. It's just, we just made it that much better where now we can not only produce them in bulk, we can also immediately send them, email them, and quite honestly get that signature back with very, very shortly thereafter, maybe within 24 to 48 hours for most folks. On the ANA side, because of the number of PPC templates that are out there, from what I've heard, we've condensed from 90 to about 30. And those are done by industry, by service line, so on and so forth. So that's, and the HubSync tool allowed us to do that. Our ANA team spent significant amount of time building those templates. So it was a big investment. But however, we are reaping the benefits of creating the engagement letters currently in a much more efficient way. And then from the standardization standpoint, where we have, anybody can go in and create that engagement letter, but the screen tips for each toggle that's turned on allows our user to create a correct engagement letter, so to speak, for the client that they're working on. I hope that makes sense. If you're not in the tool yet, it's probably is not making a lot of, but it's highly customizable. So if you're thinking you need to include this word or this paragraph, you're able to do so depending on various criteria that you have in that template.
Well,
It's a tedious process, but you spend the time in doing it on the front end and
Right.
reap the benefits later.
That's
Well,
what I was
just
going to
to
say. Doing that front end work from 90 to 30 is a lot of work in the front end, but really sounds like it's valuable at the end of the day.
you look at some of your high level stat, I mean, your high tens of thousands of engagement letters, you've got 67% signatures right now on the ones that are out. 33%, as you noted, Deanna, signed within 24 hours, and almost 50% signed within 7 days. Can you talk about the one thing I remember talking to Chad Pinson, your CEO, was he was just excited when he could see a dashboard. Can you talk also about just the benefits of the tracking and the lack of follow-up that you have to have, because the system is actually following up with the person, but talk about the benefits of just having the dashboards and the analytics to be able to track all these engagement letters once they're issued.
Yeah, as Deanna mentioned, that was one of our big weaknesses before, was we had almost no tracking of engagement letters, and now with HubSync, we can track engagement letters at many different levels. We can track it at the template level, so basically how many or what type of engagement letters they're sending out. We can do it at the partner level. We can do it at the office level, or we can do it firm wide. So you have, no matter where you are in the firm, there's going to be a level that provides you insight for what you're doing at your level. So yeah, Chad's comment at the CEO level, getting something that he can see that's across the firm. He can drill in if he needs to get more details, but he just wants that executive summary of where do the things stand, and that gives him that. But if you go to the local office level and you want to see how each individual partner within your office is doing, it also offers the analytics there, where you can see is partner A falling behind and getting their engagement letters out compared to their similar partners. So it kind of provides insight at kind of all levels within the firm.
Yeah. Let's pivot over a bit, Deanna, back to some of our initial conversations. And we're consistently hearing now, client experience is becoming more important for CPA firms. And I've talked to head of tax and other head of audit, and one of the concerns is, they're requiring their taxpayers or their audit clients to navigate across too many applications to interface with the firm. I know that was something, Deanna, that we talked about. What are the benefits that you've seen around having an integrated experience and being able to have workspaces with PBC data collection for your corporations and partnerships and tax organizers going out and really having more of a single pane of glass approach versus perhaps a client having to navigate across a bunch of different applications to interface with the firm?
I'm glad you brought that up, because client experience is always at the top of our mind in all of our discussions, in the development tools and anything new that's coming out. We're always approaching it from the client experience, because we want to make sure that we're not making it more burdensome for them to produce their tax document or interact with their professionals. I would say clients appreciate having that single intuitive platform where they can exchange documents. They can communicate with their professional directly within the platform, and they can access their deliverables all in one place. This is especially useful when we have clients who have multiple organizations. So once you are registered with that same email address within the HubSync platform, upon login, you are able to view kind of everything, the entire universe of, so to speak, of everything that you're responsible for. And I think that has been a tremendous benefit to those clients that have kind of relationships or affiliations with other entities, whether it's an individual and they have an entity, so on and so forth. So it creates that one place where they would log in to upload and share information with their professional.
That's great. Thanks, Deanna. Chris, I know we're almost wrapping up. We've made a lot of progress together as partners. Talk to me about what's next with the technology strategy. I know we've got some new modules that are coming online that you're interested in, but give us some insights in terms of where you want to go next with your technology strategy in this partnership.
Yeah, with us, especially with technology these days, we always have to be constantly reevaluating what we're doing. Um, what we've been doing may not be the best for where the industry, the market's going. So for our technology needs, it's basically making sure that we're reevaluating everything that we're doing. Where can we consolidate? That's you mentioned clients not liking to jump across various platforms. We found that our people don't like to jump across various platforms either.
Yeah.
They want to go to one spot and have as much as they can get in that one spot without having a dozen different software programs open. So kind of what technology can we bring in that'll kind of bring the various or as many platforms together into one spot is definitely going to be high on our radar to evaluate. And obviously, you know, AI. Hard to be in the world today without trying to envision how AI is going to impact you and your people in your industry. So trying to how can we best utilize AI to produce the best client experience and serve our clients the best. And yeah, that's basically kind of where we're heading with technology. Just keep evaluating what we're doing and how can we do it better.
We look forward to continuing to partner with you on your journey. We've made a lot of progress to date so far, and you guys have been great partners with us. It's been great to work with both of you, and we're almost at time here, Betsy. I think we've had a great discussion. I don't know if we have time to take any more questions from the audience, but really enjoyed this conversation and the insights you guys have provided to us and to our prospects and clients.
I think, well, we have a bunch, but let me just maybe end with this one. What advice would you give to a firm just starting out with HubSync today? Like, what advice would you give to them? Where to start, how to start?
I would say make sure you have clean data, clean client data that you are bringing in. That's the I would say that's number one. You've got to have something that's clean. You have correct email addresses, centralized client IDs that you're utilizing across your platforms. Chris, sorry if you were jumping in to mention something different.
Sorry, my lights just kicked off. Yeah, I was going to say just sit down with your HubSync team and come up with a strategy plan of when you want to roll things out and what has to be done by that, and kind of have everyone agree to a timeline. And I think our experience is if everyone sits down and is heading in the right direction, there's nothing you and HubSync can't do. So that would be my word of advice.
I like that. That might have to be our clip for online. There's nothing you and HubSync can't do. So thank you for that. And thank you everyone for your time. I know it is a busy time of the year, so we appreciate your time and effort towards this. And thanks to the audience for all your questions. We will be sharing this link and we'll be putting it up on our YouTube channel as well as putting it into our newsletter. So make sure that you follow us on LinkedIn and also subscribing to our newsletter, and we can share this with you. So thank you guys. We're going to end exactly on time, so that is perfect. And we will see you both at our Steeplechase client event. We look forward to it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.